I think a lot of us get into woodworking because we fall in love with the idea of creating something with our hands. But as we build our skills, we find ourselves making things that carry a deeper purpose and meaning. I've been putting off this project for 2 years, waiting for the right design to just magically appear in my head. Those moments of inspiration don't come as easily as they used to. It took a tragic loss to finally push me into action, making this perhaps my most meaningful project yet. And this video is brought to us by Squarespace. This project started off with some locally grown white oak. It's big, it's heavy, it's warped because it was air dried, but the grain is nice and straight. It's kind of rare to come across straight grain boards this wide, and I always feel bad for ripping them thinner, but like I mentioned in the last video, it's time to stop saving wood and just use it. We're making an urn, not one, but 6. I'll explain why. This is not going to be a sad video. No slow piano, no sappy strings, no sunsets fading over the horizon, and no slow motion shots. I'm not going to do that to you, and I'm not going to cry, at least not on camera. A couple of years ago, my dog Weens passed away. He was a good boy for 15 years. He was officially the best man in our wedding, and we shared a birthday. In a lot of ways, we were alike. He disliked strangers, but loved cats and dogs. He changed who I was, and being a wiener dog lover became my identity. Anybody who knows me knows I'm the wiener dog guy. I instantly smile anytime I see a dachshund. Weens moved on over 2 years ago, and I've been waiting to make him a special urn. I guess the reason it's taken so long is that I've been waiting for the perfect design to just pop in my head. Something that I've come to realize lately is ideas don't just pop in my head anymore, at least not like they used to. These days, I need to make time to come up with and develop ideas. Before we got our second wiener dog, Weens' best friend was Tweak. Tweak belonged to a good friend of mine, Krista. I met Krista when she bought one of my art pieces titled Wiener Brains. I found out she had 3 sausage dogs of her own, and we instantly became friends. She would dog sit for Weens whenever I needed to leave town, and Weens loved playing with her 3 wiener dogs, especially Tweak. Just saying the name Tweak would make Weens lose his freaking mind. Sadly, Tweak has joined Weens on the other side. Since they mean so much to me, I decided to make an urn for Tweak and surprise Krista. And since I'm making one for Tweak, I might as well make one for Weens. And over the years that I've known Krista, she has lost all her dogs to old age. And they all deserve matching urns, plus one for our cat, Sydney. I don't want this to be a sad video. This is a celebration of our friends. Our pets mean the world to us. Our entire lives revolves around our dogs, and we are happy to do so. My favorite quote from the greatest author of all time: "I cannot distinguish between the love I have for people and the love I have for dogs." I'm making 6 urns in total, 4 for our friend Krista and 2 for us. That's way too many dead pets, but in woodworking, if you can batch out, then you should batch out. When you get your pet cremated, you get a cheap mass-produced box, barely big enough to hold the ashes. Our furry friends deserve so much better. All the corners are miter joints that'll be reinforced with splines. The top and bottom pieces will fit into a dado. There's nothing too special about that, but what makes this design unique is the multiple layers and how you'll access each layer. The lower level will have space for the ashes, and the upper level will have room for some keepsakes like name tags and pictures. I think I've come up with a pretty clever system for this that I'll reveal later, and it'll make more sense when you can see it in action. Everything gets assembled and glued together at the same time. Once the glue dries, we'll then chop off the top for what will be the lid. This is a classic technique used by box makers to have a perfect grain match and fit. After the lid gets cut off, we need to build out the inside walls with thin material. The lid then slips over this lip we're creating for a perfect and satisfying fit. And when I say satisfying, I mean you can't help but take the lid on and off over and over. And because I can't just make a simple box, I'm making my own inlay banding with white oak and walnut. I've got an entire video on the process, so I won't bore you with the details here. But it's one of those features that makes any simple piece pop with craftsmanship and detail. And while I'm making the inlay banding, I'd like to tell you about today's sponsor, and that is Squarespace. I can't even believe my website is more than 10 years old, and Squarespace has been the backbone of my website for over a decade. Squarespace has always been easy to use, and it's now even easier thanks to Blueprint. With Blueprint, it's going to ask you a series of questions up front. And while you're answering these questions, it's going to take your answers and start building your website for you in the background. This is mind-blowing. This just makes setting up a new website so easy. And get this, you can use AI to pre-populate all your pages with text. Whether or not you keep that text is up to you, but you can set the tone, whether you want it lighthearted or serious or very business-like, it's up to you. And if you choose not to use it, you at least have a placeholder to see how your pages are going to look. What a time to be alive. Squarespace just makes my business so much easier to run. And they've got a bunch of third-party integrations. I use a company called Printful for all my print-on-demand t-shirts and hats and stickers and all that. And Squarespace integrates seamlessly with Printful. Keeps track of inventory. Well, I guess I don't need to keep track of inventory if I'm using print on demand, but certain things I do sell out of my house, like books, and Squarespace keeps track of all that inventory for me. I'm telling you, it just makes my life easier. Visit squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, visit squarespace.com/make something for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. This inlay banding just gets glued to the top. It also covers up any gaps that I may have in the lid and just makes me look like a better craftsman. One of these days, I think I need to make a video on how to cover up your mistakes because I've gotten really good at it. I'm really happy with the way these came out. The lid, you can't even see the line where the lid meets the box. You can feel the air suction when you take the lid on and off. I'm just really thrilled with how that came out. I didn't talk about it during the video, but I routed that cove all around the edge, and that is the handle. So I didn't have to make a separate handle. The lid is the handle, and that comes on and off. The inlay banding looks so freaking good. Typically, you would use zebra wood to get that cross grain, but that white oak, I found some kind of striped grain, and it worked out so well, being framed off with the walnut. And then we got the walnut splines, so there's the continuity between all the pieces. I'm just really thrilled with how well they came out. So when you take the lid off, there's rails on the inside and there's a curve on the one side of the rail. So you can press down on one side and it lifts up. Like the other side, it's solid, but you press on this side and it lifts up, and you can remove that to get to the bottom compartment where the ashes go. And my buddy Weens is in there. But here I can put his dog tags or some photos or whatever little keepsakes that I have. Weens, and then Sydney was a cat that lived like 22 years that I married into. And then these four go to my friend Krista. And I'm not gonna record the video of me giving them to her. This is a very private thing. I sent her some photos, and I know that she appreciates it and loves them. Our pets, they just mean the world to us. It's unfortunate that they don't live as long as us. We know that going into getting pets. Like, you know, a typical dachshund lives 15 to 17 years. You know what you're getting into. But the 15 years that you get out of them, it's just, anytime I walk through the door, I'm greeted with love. Everything is just unconditional with the pets. They just mean the world to us. And I can't see myself ever without a wiener dog. That's just who I am now. So the last few videos, you probably notice a big change in the editing style. And I'm kind of fumbling my way through it, trying to learn how to navigate this new editing style. And I don't have it down completely yet. What I envision in my head is not always coming out of the computer, but I'm learning, I'm getting there. I'm getting a little bit better each time. The thought process is I want to change things up. I want to make the videos that I want to make, not what the algorithm wants me to make. And so I just want to throw away all that, the retention editing and the yelling and the crazy energy. I just want to throw all that away, and I just want to make the videos that I want to make. So as I'm learning how to edit in this new style that I don't have any experience with, thank you for putting up with me. I want to make videos that mean something. Social media, whether it's YouTube or Shorts or Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you use, everything is just throwaway. And I want to create something that's just a little bit more memorable. And it's not just like you just watch it because you're bored. I want you to watch the videos because you enjoy what I make. It's inspiring. Maybe you learn something. Maybe it gives you a kick in the pants to get out in the shop and make something. Maybe you want to make the same things that I want to make. Maybe you don't have tools and you just enjoy watching what other people make. For example, like I watch so many cooking videos, but I don't cook that much. I mean, I cook every day, but I don't put effort into cooking. I don't have all the crazy gadgets that the cooking channels have, but I watch them anyway because I love seeing craftspeople do their thing. And so I'm hoping that's what you get out of this. And if you want to support what I do while we fight against not creating algorithm-based views, you can support me on Patreon. I'll have a link down below. Patreon members get access to our private Discord, and it's just a super friendly community over there. You get monthly coupons, behind-the-scenes videos, and yeah, that's it. We're just I want to make videos that mean something. If you are a woodworker, you're probably a lot like me, and you have these special pieces of wood lying around that you refuse to use because you're waiting for that special project. I got a video that covers that and what to do with that wood right here. Thank you for watching. As always, be safe, have fun, stay passionate, and make something. Make something special. Be passionate and make something special.